Hello, scholars. Today we are going to consider the third topic in your English textbook titled Have You Ever Seen? Right? This is actually a very short poem. It comprises three stanzas. Here you can see now the three stanzas are there. Each stanza contains four lines. The poet of this particular or the composer of this particular poem is unknown, therefore it is written as anonymous. Now we it is a very humorous poem is there because the poet has made beautiful use of homographs. Now what is meant by homographs you already know, right? Homographs means two words that have a same spelling but have a different meaning, and the figures of speech which is used by the poet is pun, right? So what is their pun? Pun is a figures of speech where a form of wordplay uses multiple meaning of a term or similar sounding words for the humorous effect. In this way it is being used there. Look at now. I already told you the poem is very short there. Look at now. We will consider this poem stanza wise. In the first stanza, look at now. In the first stanza, the poets talk about sheet for a river bed and here's for the hammer's head. So look at now. Sheet of a river and a hammer's head. These two words are there. Look at now. These words are pun as the sheet means bed sheet, but the river bed means a bottom of the river and has no relation with the bed, right? So look at now, bed sheet. What it is refers there? It means bottom of the river, but it has no relation with the bed that we are talking about. The sleeping bed is there, or the bed which is used for the sleeping purpose. Second is there hammer's head. You can see now. Hammer's head means the top of the hammer is called the hammer's head. The poet alternatively talk about the human head refers to hammer's head as a hairless. So look at now. Here this word is used there, right? Now hammer's head, does it have any kind of hair there? No. But we find hairs on the human head is there. Understand? Next, the foot of mountain. Here you can see the foot of mountain and has no relation with the human foot. So look at now, human foot. Hence, he doesn't have he doesn't have toes like the human foot toes, right? The mountain will not have any kind of toe is there. So therefore here you can see now foot of the mountain and there is no obvious relation with the toes because toes we find to the human foot, not the foot of the mountain. The poet further refers to a garden hose. So look at now hose. Now what is the meaning of the hose? Hose means a flexible tube or a pair of a stocking, or right, that is being given here, right? So the poet further refers to a garden hose, here garden hose, which is a flexible tube used to water the plants that he compares to it homograph hose, which means a pair of a stocking. So look at now. So in this way some words, foot, again hammer's head, again river bed, these are the some of the words which are having more than one meaning, therefore it is one of the example of homograph, or we can also say it's a play on the word. Understand? Therefore it is also one of the example of pun. Now let's move towards the second stanza. What the poet want to say in the second stanza? Look at now. In the second stanza the poet refers to the needle's eye. Here you can see now needle. You know, this very common thing we find in the house just for stitching something. For the purpose of stitching we use needle is there. and here wink its eye. Look at now. In the second stanza, the poet refers the needle's eye and tell us that it does wink like a human eye. Yes, winking means what? Winking means human eyes are, we are just winking there. Similarly, the eye of the needle is also winking. In this way, the poet is giving the human quality. Is there? Understand? The poet is giving the human quality to eye of the needle. Second line you can see now, wings of the building fly. The wings of the building fly are being compared to the wings of bird. Understand? And here he is assuming that just like the wings of the bird help them to fly, the wings of building should also help them to fly. In this way, the poet is giving or making imagination. Next, here you can see now the ribs of the parasol. What is the ribs of the parasol? The ribs of parasol means what? Parasol means umbrella. What is meant by parasol? Parasol means umbrella. Ribs means what? What kind of sticks are there inside the umbrella? That is known as the ribs. The ribs of umbrella are homographically spoken out as if they are the ribs of the human beings. Now the human ribs means, the rib cage is there. In the rib cage of the human being, all the delicate organs are kept there. Those are known as the internal organ. Which are the internal organs are there? Our lungs, heart. These are the delicate organs which are kept inside the rib cage. Understand? And rib cage, that rib cage is compared with the ribs of the parasol. Here I already told you, parasol means what it is. Parasol means umbrella is there. Understand? Right? Then he talk about the trunk of the tree. So look at now, here he is talking about, the poet is talking about the trunk of the tree and the object trunk, which means a large wooden box for storing clothes. Trunk. Understand? And he is asking whether the tree trunk will open like the trunk. Which trunk? The trunk which is used for keeping our clothes. How we can able to open its lid? In the same manner can we open the trunk of the tree. Now let us move to the third stanza. Look at now, in the last stanza, the poet has made reference to the teeth of the rake, which he compares to the human teeth. So here you can see now, rake of the teeth. Rake is one farm implement is there, just for collecting grass and other things. It is being used there. Understand? So what the poet is making there? Poet has made reference to the teeth of a rake, which he compares to the human teeth, and he questions whether they can bite like the human teeth do. Yes or no? What is the use of teeth? Human teeth we are using for biting there, just for chewing purpose we are using teeth. Similarly, can we use the teeth of the rake for the same purpose? The poet is asking the question. Yes or no? He wonders whether the hands of the clock, in the next line you can see the hands of the clock. He wonders whether the hands of the clocks are right or left like a human hands. He asks if the garden plot. So look at now, human hands are, we have to find out whether they are, how we can use the right hand, left hand. Similarly, in the same fashion, hands of the clock can be used there. Similarly, in the next line, he is talking about the garden plot is there. Now here plot is implying having two meanings are there. Garden plot means a piece of land is there, and second meaning of the plot is that a wicked plan or evil plan is there, right? If you want to deceive someone, if you want to make something wrong to someone, what kind of plan is made? That is known as the plot. That also means plot, but it is having very negative meaning, right? Evil or wicked plan, we can say this one. Okay, so here he asks if the garden plot can be dark, right? Here this word dark and deep. Understand? Here deep is also used there. And like a stories plot. Stories plot means I already told you. Garden plot is different, and stories plot means what kind of a tragedies are there. In the tragedies, you will find the peoples are deceiving other peoples by making evil plan. So that is the meaning of the stories plot is there. Understand? Finally, he questions whether, in the last line here you can see now, finally he questions whether the bark of the birch tree. Now birch is one kind of a tree is there, right? Bark means the outer skin of the tree is known as the bark. Yes, so look at now, finally he questions whether the bark of a birch tree can make a sound like a bark of a dog. Yes, bark of the dog. What is the sound of the bark tree? Yes, does it will make the the sound the dog used to make. In this way this is being given there. Now thus the poet make the use of amusing puns to bring about the dual meaning of a certain words. So in this poem we find so many words are used, right, for the purpose of humor, and they are implying the dual meaning. Dual meaning means more than one meaning is implied, right? Some words we have already seen there, right? Ribs, all other things are there, rake are there, teeth are there, right? So these are the some of the words which are used for implying the dual meaning, and with the help of this one the poet tried to create the humor. So that's all in this session. Tomorrow we will meet again. Thank you.